Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our next installment of the 2021-2022 Artist Interviews. My name is Rachel Tomasic. I am a current fourth-year TDS student, and I am part of the cast of Fefu and Her Friends. I am very excited to speak with our educator, creator, and producer. He is the founding artistic director of Recurrent Theatre, and his work co-creating Access Me with the Boys in Chairs Collective will be published by Playwrights Canada Press in spring 2022. Please welcome director of our MainStage production of Fefu and Her Friends, Brian Postalian.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for being with us, Brian. To start us off, my first question is, what kind of work or research did you do to prepare going into the show?
Well, when approaching plays, it's always great to know what was the playwright thinking at the time of writing and doing this piece. So the work to really go in to figure out the impulses of Irene Fornes, research around the time that she was writing, why specifically Fefu, the other context of her work, and then going deeper into the specifics of the choices that the playwright made into the piece. Fefu is set in the 1930s, so there's a particular amount of research that has to happen about that decade. And in particular with Fefu, the genre of which Fornes is writing within took a deal of consideration, because she describes as a plotless play. And so what does that mean? How do you perform a plotless play? There's a bit of research to figure out, well, how did other productions tackle some of the challenges that we have in this piece? In particular, Act 2 of the show, as traditionally written, the audience would roam from room to room in Fefu's house. So they would get up into about 4 groups and rotate to these 4 different scenes in Act 2. So knowing the constraints that we're under doing filming, I thought there might be some interesting choices we could make that could perhaps lend itself into this multi-room setup that I think will be kind of exciting.
Thank you so much. My next question is, what does your directing process look like? And as you just spoke about the challenges of figuring out the mechanics of the second part, beyond that, were there any other challenges going into the show and directing it at this time?
Well, Rachel, you tell me, what is my directing process like?
You will give us as actors the agency to explore and play and make our own choices and constantly be going through a process of discovery. So going into the rehearsal room on the first day of blocking, we were told to put our scripts aside, not to worry necessarily about the text, but to go through the motions of the scene and take in the discovery moment by moment and kind of see what that does for your character and for you as an actor, and what we could grab from that, and either feel if it works or if it doesn't, to let it go. And so I think it's been a really cool and interesting process to be able to try things and take risks without feeling precious about anything, and feel excited to make discoveries and know that if they don't work, that's okay.
Thanks for that, Rachel. What I try to approach in my work is highly collaborative. So as I've told all of you since day one, you're all co-creators of this piece. So to approach all of your work and your presence in the room as agents of making the piece, not just as actors, but as artists who can say stuff and comment on not just your own work, but how it fits within the larger context of the show. In terms of the challenges, I mean, the text itself is incredibly ambiguous. The playwright doesn't leave you with a whole lot of information about what's happening, why, who the characters are. So we as a team have to figure out, and have had to do so over the last 4 weeks now, why does this happen? Why is this choice being made? Why are these words being said? And how to still have conflict in friendship, and staging that, living that, because everyone's impulses in the room is like, oh, I want to be friendly and I want to support each other. And that's been, I think, the hardest thing to needle out of the general wash of the show, that I think you know what I'm saying when I talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's because we're such a tight-knit group of friends, it's interesting to kind of have to let that go and approach it to find the challenges in it. So yeah, I agree. Our next question is, how does this play fit in our world today compared to when it was first performed, and what themes remain from its opening night?
Well, I'm not that old to know what it was like on opening night, but unfortunately, or bittersweetly, the themes of the pressure to be a particular kind of person and play a particular kind of woman, the constraints of gender and sexuality and mental illness that emerge in the play, that are still very salient today. The idea of finding who ourself is, ourself in relation to others. The particular reason why it's a plotless play is not the kind of external forces that are pressed upon you by a series of events, but an ongoing battle that these characters and individuals have to navigate.
Thank you. What is unique about this production of Fefu and Her Friends?
I think the choices we've made on a design standpoint are really compelling on how we're looking at the audience presence and liveness, even though it's happening through a screen. We've been, I'd say, considerate about how that could translate itself online. I think what we're doing on that aspect of how the camera's working on a very, very simple level will make it different.
Yeah, I also think that we have done a good job honoring Fornes's in idea of the liveness of the show and her mechanics in part two. And I am excited to see how that is translated through camera. How has it been directing a group of soon-to-be graduates, actors who will be stepping into the professional industry?
It's great. I love working with all of you. As you know, I'm a grad of the program myself, so there's a deep kindred relationship I feel like I have. And you are all so incredibly talented and smart that I always wish I could do more, because knowing this production doesn't just live as a show itself, but as a cornerstone or stepping stone of your final work coming out of school. There's a great deal of pressure that I feel I have to live up to, making sure that you all emerge with smiles on your faces.
Thank you, Ryan. It is such a joy working with you two. We all feel super privileged to have you as our director, and you've created a space where it's such a community and we feel safe to share ideas and explore, and we're all really, really excited. So you have achieved your mission of putting a smile on all of our faces.
Thank you.
What has been your biggest takeaway from your experience directing this show thus far?
I don't know. I mean, there's still so much time left.
Yeah.
So I've yet to kind of sit down and reflect on the process so far, aside from when we're in rehearsal. And I mean, just being the situation we've all had with the pandemic over the last 2 years, I think the reward of working with a team of this size in person, where bodies get to touch, has been really, really nice. This cast is yet to be able to do that without thinking, I've got to be 6 feet away, or I can't touch, otherwise I've got to put goggles on. And the kind of light bulb moment where you all went, oh, so I can follow that impulse. and where that's led since has been really, really fun to see.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise, I think, for us all to be granted that freedom again, and something we are very thankful for, and we feel privileged to be able to do uh, at this time. So having that discovery and the exploration that comes with that has been really rewarding, I think, for all of us.
Mm.
What would you like to tell our audience members before watching this show, and what can they expect?
Hmm. That's always a really hard question. I never really enjoy telling audiences either what to expect or what to feel. As an audience member, when you know a play, then seeing it is always a really sometimes productively frustrating experience, because there's a certain expectation you have of the show, of what you thought was happening, and then it's met with all these other choices that were made. So I would just say, whatever questions emerge are probably the right ones.
Mhm. This show, in every sense, to the audience and the actors, challenges us to ask questions and to think, I think, just in general. So I think that's a great answer. Thank you so much, Brian, for sitting down and chatting with me today. You can watch Fefu and Her Friends from February 17th to March 6th. The show will be live streamed from Erindale Studio Theatre, which means you can watch the show from the comfort of your own home. Tickets are available in the link below. Thank you for watching.